My lifestyle is a combination of black and white with 8 miles. Cause after 8 Mile I was inspired despite failed trials. Em showed me that while you're white, if you're nice and you just stick with it, you're physical irrelevant, they love you if you just sick with it. So then it's time to study the classics from each coast, like I'm taking history rap class with Boombox as my host. And most stuck with the West Coast, Daz, Q, Dre, Eazy-E, 213, Snoopy, Corrupt, and next to the Z. And then I heard all eyes on me, and just like the rest of ya, I was taken aback by the delivery that Pac gives ya. And I memorized all the songs from back when he was alive, up to Pac's life, which came out 10 years after he died. But on the 8 Mile CD, a man by the name of Jay-Z spit 8 miles and running along with a man named Free. And I freely made my way to the East Coast streets with lyrical intelligence, genius, and street cred on me. I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, you come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I had no reasonable doubt as I followed it up to the Black Album. Illmatic, Stillmatic was still brilliant up to the last album, but they said I gotta choose a side on the beef outcome. Only a matter of time before they get together, Black Republican, Wu-Tang, 36 Chamber, Meth and Quan my favorite. Heard them on the turn, spit together in the flow, I engraved it. And AZ, Jada, D-Block, and the elegance of Biggie. Most D, Black Star, most definitely T-A-L-I-B. And they came Common, Kanye, Lupe, Bruce, dilated peoples. Pushed it back, Big L, Big Pun, while I had dilated peoples. I was a pupil to the game, and why these rappers made me, it was the underground MCs who decided to save me. Before I be just another listener to mainstream club hits was whack shit, slaughter in the real scene. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, KRS, and Beastie Boys, countless others to name, influenced the beast in your boy. I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, immortal technique, if you ain't bump him, you ain't bump hip-hop. Jedi mind, heavenly divine, that's that Philly talk. Aesop rock, C-Rays walls at the crossroads of Bone Thugs, said a harmony to him like Akon, cause it just stuck. And on the underground mixtapes I heard Lil Wayne rapping on every beat possible as he taking over the game. And T.I.P. had 2 personalities just like me, so I figured I'd grand hustle like a king, call myself SMP. Bust a few G's, Public Enemy, and BEP. Saw him Pepper, Outkast, Run DMC, and Eric B. And at the same time E40 and Obi got a hold of me. Neptunes and Timberland sound struck and captivated me. And the influences rolled together to make a Frankenstein with stanky rhymes, cause this youngin' got himself a danky mind. And one day I hope my lines will influence a young mind who says that SMP was simply the greatest of his time. I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, I'm hip-hop at its finest, it don't get better, hear my finesse. Oh yes, to come back, you couldn't have timed this any better, I must confess. Oh yes, 10 faces of hip-hop.